Hello, Patreons. Welcome back to the Spotlight. This is our feature here on Patreon where we talk to creators and other awesome people in the pop culture space. Very excited today to be joined by artist and personal legend favorite of mine, Gordon Purcell. Gordon, good evening. How are you today?
I'm okay. I hope you are.
I'm doing well. It's the summertime, but it's sweltering here. It's probably sweltering where you are, I would imagine, because you're based in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
Although it should cool off the next few days for.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, my business partner Todd lives in the Twin Cities, so it's somehow hotter there than it is here. I live in West Michigan, so we always get the crazy weather swings out this way. So,
Born in.
You were born in Michigan. That's right. Yeah, I did. I saw that in your notes. You were born in Lansing. Is that correct?
Well, the truth is, I was born in Traverse City, but
not even close. That's what.
But my grandparents lived in Lansing. So.
Very good. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm an MSU grad, so I've definitely spent some time in Lansing. Gotcha. Well, good. Well, tell me, you've had this, absolutely spectacular career penciling since, I'm sure well before I discovered your work in the 1990s, which I'll talk about. But how did you get started in the business?
Well, I went to the University of Minnesota, and they didn't have classes for this. I had studio arts and theater arts, and a minor in journalism. And frankly, art helped by drawing a lot, but the theater helped more because I had to take scripts, break them down. I directed. I had to do scene design, costume design, directing. So all that kind of helped with this where I wasn't sure it would. I went to a convention. I showed my art to Jim Shooter and some other guests that were there, and they encouraged me. And one of the guests was Greg Guler, who needed help on something called Captain Paragon and the Sentinels of Justice. And so he asked if I could do the layouts for that, and he would come in and repencil what he needed to and then send it to Anchor. And that was my first job.
Wow.
For Americomics in the 80s sometime. Like 84, 85. Then I did a few other little minor independent stuff, including a Munden's Bar story for First. I kept getting put into new talent programs. One was Marvel had a big tryout book.
Right, I remember.
And Mark Bagley won it, but I was one of the runner-ups.
Oh, I did not know. I'm a fan of his as well, the Spider-Man work, yeah.
Yeah, and then I also was put into the new talent program at DC. And so they had classes and stuff for that after the Chicago Con. But that didn't seem to go anywhere. Then out of the blue, sort of, they had the bonus book program where they would put a free comic in the middle of a comic drawn by new talent. And that included people like I was the second one for Flash number 12. And from that point, I started getting up a little work at DC. And by 89, I think I was doing it pretty full time. So,
fantastic.
I think I did a Spectre annual and then some Star Treks. And Gamma Marauders was in there somewhere. And then I kind of took over the movie version of Star Trek. And then, I did Star Trek a lot. And then,
yeah, which is exactly what I wanted to segue into because I'm a Marvel guy, as you can probably see just looking at my background. But I've been a Star Trek guy for almost as long. I discovered Star Trek. It was a family background, but I discovered Star Trek 4 was my first big movie. I was 10. And then I started reading the comics. And it was after Star Trek 5 that their DC's second volume of Star Trek started, obviously. And I was not a DC Comics fan. And I fell in love with that title. I love the story. I loved your art. I was very big fan of what you did. And you drew nearly all of that title, 78 issues, with exceptions here and there, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're mistaken.
Oh, okay.
I think the 10 issues were drawn by James Fry.
Okay.
And then I did several years of it.
Right.
And then, well, I would also do fill-ins like War of the Gods and Flash
Okay.
and Titan.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because
But
I
here's
wanted to, uh, I came into comics wanting to draw superheroes.
sure.
Fortunately, Star Trek was something I really liked.
That was gonna be my question. I said, are you a Trekker, or was it just a job? But you're a
Oh
Trekker,
no, I was, yeah, but at the time, unlike now, Star Trek wasn't on TV,
right?
and it wasn't. There were no computers taking me to pictures of Star Trek, so I had
Right.
a few magazines from a friend, and basically had to do all the drawing from my memory.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No references, which I'm sure is invaluable to people doing licensed properties these days. Yeah.
Oh yeah, nowadays, well, later on, I got to visit the sets of Next Generation and the set of Deep Space Nine, which gave me a lot more feeling of how they sat and how they talked to some of the actors and stuff. It was very interesting, very cool.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line with DC, they switched editors. And of course, whenever editors switch, they often want to have their people.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I picked up work at Marvel at that time. So I was working at Marvel, and then Malibu got the Star Trek license, or
Right.
Deep Space Nine, and they had to
Right.
do the first issue, which may be the best-selling Star Trek issue ever.
I think I have a copy still, yeah, because I don't know. I'm a little weird when it comes to comics. I don't know if you collect comics yourself or even these days, but I myself I do a lot of digital reading, but the comics I still collect are older out of print stuff. So I don't know if those Malibu comics are in print anywhere, but I have several for that reason, because I suspect that they may not be.
I think they were put into a paperback by IDW. I might.
Gotcha. Okay.
Uh,
Which, yeah, even those you never necessarily know when they're going to stay
and
in
that
print.
was 10 years ago, too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They reprinted a lot of my stuff, including
Right.
first run on Star Trek and such. But yeah, so after Marvel, I went to Dark Horse for a while, did Barbed Wire, the movie, and Young Indiana Jones and Lost in Space.
Right. I've got some of those in Young Indiana Jones.
And then what else did I do? I was bouncing between jobs. Then I got back onto Star Trek at DC with Margaret Clark, who passed away recently, but she was old.
Mm.
And I did Next Generation. And that was great. That was fun. Then DC lost the license again.
Right. Yep. Yeah. It was about 95, I think, is when certainly the main, I think, when those titles ended, because I'm trying to remember correctly, their numbering was the same. They were both like 78, 80 issues or whatever it is. And
I think
is that right?
80 was my last issue on Next Gen.
Okay.
And then Marvel insisted they were the biggest company in the world, and they're the only people who could really do this.
They got it back.
Got it back, and but they insist on not using anybody who worked on Star Trek before. However,
Stupid.
they did use some by the end, because everybody wants to draw superheroes. No one wants to draw licensed comics. So after a while, I think they brought in some people at the end, but not. They didn't blow the world away with that.
Yeah, it was maybe 2 years, I think, because what's funny is that all of those, your stuff, the run of TNG, the Marvel stuff, both from 1980 and from the late 90s, that's what I collect. I have a huge collection of those because they're all gone. They don't really that much exist digitally or even in trade paperback.
Yeah, I think the Starfleet Academy they might have put into a paperback. But after that, I don't think they did put much. Maybe the first Voyagers.
Maybe.
Some
Yeah.
time though, it ended. I did one issue of what are they called? The Ninja People.
The Ninja People.
They're like 5 of them, and there you have.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Is that what you're talking about?
Although they asked me to try out for that, and I did. Uh, one with the I don't know. Well, there's a Pink Ranger. Oh, Power Rangers.
Power Rangers. Okay, gotcha.
And then,
Yeah, they're kind of ninjas. You got it.
and I think I might have done something else. And then Tops called, and evidently they were doing the X-Files, which was very popular.
Mm-hmm.
A little story. Gillian Anderson went on Conan O'Brien's show, and he showed her the comic, and she did not like it. She didn't like the art, which was Charlie Aldard, who's a wonderful artist. But they brought me in because I could do likenesses, so I did that for a few years. And Charlie, of course, went on to much more success with Walking Dead.
Absolutely. And he did great. Great title. And yeah, great work. Definitely.
So I did that for a while until they came. They kept switching the person who supervised the comics for what's his name? Carter's group, Chris Carter's.
Chris Carter. Yeah.
And the last person said, I don't understand why they have shadows on their face and why they, sometimes smile. Why don't you just print up a stamp of Mulder and Scully's heads? And so I left the book.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking it with somebody else. And then I, just kicked around on different titles. I would do, I don't know what, I did a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember doing Ford Motor. They would I would draw it, and then a car would drive through the city or the country that I had drawn.
Oh,
that was a nice job.
Interesting. Oh my goodness. Well, thinking back to Star Trek, like I said, I'm hyper fixated on that volume 2 because I absolutely loved it, and you did so many of them. Did you have, or even thinking about TNG, because I've not read a ton of those, even though I backlogged them, and we'll get around to read them. Did you have a particular story arc or an issue that you're like, man, I really dug this, or it was like some work that I'm really proud of, something that comes to mind?
Well, when we went to IDW, I did a couple fill-ins for the year 4, I think it was.
Yeah, I remember.
And I got DC Fontana, who was the story editor on the original show. She wrote a mini-series called the Enterprise Incident or Experiment.
You're right.
And that was really fun because I get to draw the old weird spacesuits and Mirabani's obelisk and
oh wow,
all of that kind of stuff. And then that led into The Last Generation.
Oh, that was so good. Love that.
It was argued that the Khitomer Conference was a failure and the Klingons were enemies of ours. And so Picard forms a sort of French Revolution underground. And
right.
Picks up Star Trek characters from all over, including the novels.
Right. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, Sulu is the last part of Starfleet, so it's just the Excelsior.
Yeah, and they had the woman from yesterday's Enterprise, the captain from that.
Garrett, yeah.
7 of 9, but she wasn't a Borg yet. And just all kinds of characters. But that was fun to draw, too, because it was really challenging.
Yeah.
So, that was fun. I also drew Beyond the Wall at IDW, where a great story about it was a film script, so I had a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
I remember going to Image and drawing Protectors Inc., which was Jay Straczynski's book about superheroes in a real world in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting job. I drew a lot of stuff for Hero Comics, which had Flair and Black Enchantress. I still work for them.
Oh, awesome.
I did Claypool a lot, which had Elvira, and Soul Searchers and Company, which Peter David wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would bounce between things and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I saw that in my notes as well. So in my research, it did say that your preference is working with, kind of editorial partners you feel like you have a connection with. So
Sure.
Yeah, instead of just being, going from here to there and whatever it is. So, and I know you've covered a lot of it, but beyond kind of what you've talked about, is there a team or a title that you've not covered so far that you're like, that was a great experience? I'll always remember it.
Well, I did. They had something called the Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I drew half story for that, but it was uh, the Thing and Doctor Doom and Hulk were all in it.
Oh boy!
Got inked by Bruce Timm.
Oh wow!
Oh, that was really cool. I did a Justice League annual. I remember I came back to DC and did a few jobs, and that was kind of cool because I had to draw them in their '70s clothes.
Oh, nice, like the Super Friends.
Wonder Woman was dressed like she was when she was renouncing her powers or whatever. And
Yeah,
visited the DC offices like Julie Schwartz and all those people.
yeah.
That was a fun job. I did Wildcat that Jerome Moore inked. That was really nice. I liked bouncing around a little bit, and some of them were more interesting jobs than others. Valiant, I did a couple of things for them, and they were very nice. But it was like the second run of Valiant. So Fabian Nicieza was my.
We've had him on this program. He's a great guy. Yeah, we did an interview with him a couple of months ago.
Yeah, he's the one who brought me into Marvel. So a lot of stuff I did for him, like Mad Dog and Wonder Man, and
Oh God, Wonder Man to me, and again, he has a show coming out a little bit later this year. But I've always loved him as a character because West Coast Avengers was my Avengers because that came out when I was a kid.
yeah, I drew a few of those characters in the Wonder Man series.
Yeah.
I did Silver Sable for a year and a half.
Oh yeah, I'm a Spider-Man guy, so Silver Sable was very big because that's an '80s Spider-Man character.
I did a What If the Punisher had killed the Spider-Man.
Yes, I think I have a copy.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a lot of interesting things I did over there.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But,
good deal.
So Fabian is one of my favorite guys. So
he is, yeah. We love chatting with him, and he is. I corresponded with him last week because I was getting quotes from creators about the Fantastic Four movie, which we talked about on our last episode, and he was kind enough to give me one.
Loved it.
Oh, wasn't it spectacular? I ended up seeing it twice because my wife couldn't go the first night because we had a family emergency with our dog, so I took a buddy, and then we saw it that weekend in 3D. It was actually very cool to see in 3D, by the way, if you're going to go see it again.
It's in 3D.
What's that?
I didn't know it was in 3D.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it all depends on the theater you go to, but yeah, it was pretty cool in 3D. I'll see. Not that I'm trying to.
That Superman and FF both came out and both were really good.
Yeah, I know. It was waiting for the next couple of Horses of the Apocalypse right after the last few years of kind of iffy, everything after Marvel, after Endgame has been dubious.
Yeah, I think Supergirl's the next DC movie. And
yeah, next summer. No,
Man is the next Marvel movie?
the next Marvel movie won't be till Doomsday. I
think Spider-Man is summer.
Oh, Spider-Man, you're correct.
Is Christmas.
You're right. Christmas, yeah, they did reorganize that, which would be interesting because they talked about how elements of the movie will interplay each other, but I think they scrapped it and they wrote it over again.
Yeah,
the Spider-Man film, and then with John Bernthal's Punisher being in it. But anyway, I digress. So I was reading some more about you, like your work outside the comic business. You made a 2005 appearance on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I had no idea. It's fascinating. And then this was in Wikipedia. I was reading, you also 3 separate times won like fabulous vacation trips or something. I mean, tell me all about that. That sounds like some wild stuff.
Yeah, I did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Meredith Vieira. So it was daytime, so they didn't want to give out a lot of $1 million. I think they gave out one. So the questions were harder, but I was the high earner of the week. They filmed 5 of them a week, I think, or something like that. Maybe it's 5 a day.
Yeah, probably so.
But I won $50,000 on that, and we needed the money. My wife had just lost her job.
Oh, God.
So it was great to be able to. We went to Disney World.
Oh, and you went to Disney World, yeah.
And then I did Jeopardy after that because I had qualified for it, but I thought, well, I'm been on a game show, so they won't. But like 2 years later, they called me. Unfortunately, I hadn't watched Jeopardy since I thought I wasn't going to be on it. So,
Uh-oh.
and all the people were sharks. They loved it, and I went against a 2-day champion and all that. So during the first part of it, the woman next to me and we we kept pressing it too early, the button too early. And so he really had a huge amount of money before the second break came. I did okay after that. I lasted through a game and answered the last question right. You know, with the other thing, well, because I basically followed Millionaire because I liked Regis, who was on David Letterman a lot.
Right.
I watched it, and it was a big phenomenon. My friend, like Phil Hester, actually made it to New York and sat in that. They had like 10 contestants in a row around him, but he didn't get to answer the questions. He wasn't enough or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I tried out for it when it came to town at a car dealership. I happened to hit somebody who liked comic books, and I think he liked that I had a different job than most people. Also, I shaved because I thought, well, I think they like clean-shaven guys more, and I was right. And so that's why I went on that show. After that, I did keep watching Regis's live show, and I won a trip, and then I won more trips. So, I've won a lot of them. In fact, I'm going to Antigua in November.
Oh my gosh! So you just apparently have this gift where you're just like, how do you win trips like that? Tell me. My wife and I love travel, so look for something new.
Well,
Tell me what to do.
you have to fill out the form each day, and I think a lot of people just don't do that.
Yeah.
You just have to fill that out correctly. Then you basically need to watch the show because they're asking trivia questions from the show before. Usually the show before. Sometimes they don't. This last one was taped, I don't know, 6 months before they showed the show. So that's a long time to sit and waiting for this. Anyway, and also the trivia questions got a lot harder.
Right.
Because they don't want to give. So it's like, it used to be like if they talked about their dog, you try to remember the dog's name.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah.
I think one time I got asked, this actor went to this convention last week, and I said, San Diego Comic-Con.
No, yeah, that's a tough one.
But there have been hard ones. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did fail once. So, and I would have failed no matter what. They said, what did this actor like cooking when he got a new? And it's like, I don't know. It was
Oh my
Eric
gosh.
answer was breakfast.
Oh my goodness.
I
Ran.
but most of them I've gotten, you know, and
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, thanks for sitting down and chat with me. This has been awesome. What are you working on right now? What's on the horizon for you? How do people find you?
Okay, well, I'm not working as much as I am semi-retired.
Semi. Yeah, I hear that when I've talked to a lot of pros like you, and I do get like Tom DeFalco. Well, I'm semi-retired, but here's the thing I'm working on.
I'm working on something called The Hollow Healer, which is the kind of a preface to an animated film. It's written by a fantasy artist, S.G. Blaze, and inked by Scott Hanna. And I think that's from Apex Comics. I still have 4 pages left to do. So,
Oh, cool.
then I did something called La Blanco Rose, La Rose Blanca. That was from American Mythology, and that might be out by now. I don't really know. And I'm drawing stuff for Hero. I think it's for Black Enchantress or Flare. I'm not quite sure. But I've drawn like 3 issues in a row of Black Enchantress. I think this is going to be the next Black Enchantress issue. But I can't tell you. They had me drew 3 pages of something and 3 pages of something else. And one of those things that bounces around. And I've done
Oh, gotcha.
before.
Yeah.
And then I sometimes draw cards. I think Dynamite wants me to draw Pope cards.
Interesting.
The last one I drew was Transformer cards. Not my favorite series of all time. I was already in high school by the time that came on TV, I think. So
Yeah. I hear you. Oh my goodness. Where do people find you on social media, or what do you have shows coming up that people can meet you at, Comic Cons, get art signed, anything like that?
Well, I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
And then I'll be at the Minnesota Comic Con in October. I think it's the first full weekend in October. And so I did things for the 2 movies we talked about. So I don't know what else comes up between now and then.
Oh, gotcha. Maybe if my partner Todd goes, is the Minnesota Comic Con in the Twin Cities, I'm guessing?
It's at the State Fairgrounds.
Oh, there you go. Well, maybe I can talk him into going and getting a signed print to get you to buy a signed print so they can send it to me. I can put it here in my studio. I'd love that.
One of my problems is my wife passed away. And
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I have an autistic adult child. I can't really leave him with anybody except for babysitting. So I go to a con locally.
Yeah, I hear you.
Harder to go to San Diego now.
Right. No, absolutely correct. Well, again, thanks for sitting down and talk with me. This has been absolutely fantastic. And like I said, huge fan of your work, and it was a big thrill to meet you. So thank you so much for sitting in. Patreons, thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to this on our free feed and you'd like to hear more content like this, please visit patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Try us out for 7 days for free. There are tons of interviews like this one, and we enjoy it very much. Gordon, good evening, and we'll see you next time.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.